Olympic gold medalist, and he'll be competing in his usual events this week, the 50-meter and 100-meter free. Nathan, if you just want to kind of give us some thoughts on how your training's been going and what this meet looks like for you, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Great. First off, welcome to everybody. It's exciting to see you all here and have a little bit of excitement and buzz around our typically kind of off year. I don't really know what to say. We have kind of generated a 4-year quadrennial plan based off of how we did in London. I'm talking we, meaning myself and the coaches that I work with. And here we are on our 2014 year, and I think everything's going according to plan so far. So as long as I put myself on that team and go down there and have a decent competition, I think we should be well on our way to hopefully doing some good things in Rio.
Nathan, how territorial do you feel about the 100 free? It's one thing for Michael to swim it as a throwaway event, but for him to now concentrate on it, do you sort of feel like this is my territory?
No. We live in the U.S. We're capitalists, right? I think actually the only thing that it'll truly do is raise the bar for everyone. Michael being in any race is going to raise the bar, obviously, and for me, it'd be great to have another guy next to me, at a trials meet, popping under 48. I think that would certainly send a message that Team USA's 400 freestyle relay is going to be a formidable force in the coming years, and Michael's certainly going to be a part of that.
Nathan, what are your expectations for this meet? Do you think you can get under 47? You haven't, or under 48, I should say. You haven't done that at a nationals yet, even though you've done it at a bigger meet. So you think 47's in the cards tomorrow?
Yeah. I don't know. We treated this basically as we've treated most U.S. trials meets, and that we have to certainly be ready to perform at a high level, but have a little bit left in the tank to hopefully go a little bit faster in a couple weeks. Popping under 48 is it's easier said than done. When you're feeling incredible, I can do it in prelims, or actually I don't think I've done it in prelims. I've done it in semis and done it in a finals meet, or done it at a 4x100 freestyle relay leadoff. But when you're not feeling 100%, it's tough to get under.
And changing gears a little bit, you've seen the Australians 2 under 47 or under 48 this year. Bunch of guys right up there at that 48 mark. How motivating is that for you guys to try and get back that 400 free relay? Haven't won it at least the World Championship since you had that great leg in 09.
Been a while. Well, to be completely honest, I think generally the French are the ones that step up at international competitions. The Australians on paper have consistently been great, and they're definitely competitive, and trying to get their hand on the wall for a gold medal. But I guess for us, we're kind of just focusing on ourselves, and once we get to a major international competition, that's when we're really going to be concerned about placement, relay order, and who we're going to be next to, and all those sorts of fun things that a lot of people don't really look into besides just the coaches.
Nathan, did you watch any of the Commonwealth Games or follow what happened?
I followed. I think I was usually in weights or at practice by the time finals is coming around, and the live stream wasn't really live, so I didn't really follow that close. But it was, I think overall it was kind of hit or miss. There were some events that were just absolute lights out, and some events that were not as great. I think even in the 100 free, it's just kind of those guys have a lot left in the tank. I don't think they were either fully rested or fully motivated to go what they're definitely capable of going at the end of the season.
What advantage do you have by going, what's it now, a week or so after they've gone and seen, Magnussen's time in the 100 free? Is that an advantage?
No, not really. I don't think it's necessarily an advantage or a disadvantage to go first, second, whatever. Again, it's the field here is tough enough that I have my hands full just trying to get my hands to get on that team individually. It's important. Obviously, this year we're qualifying also for 2015 in Kazan, and that's top 2 is not as easy. It's easier said than done. It's especially with Michael focusing on it. People dismiss Ryan because he's had a knee injury, but no one knows what he's going to do this week. I train every day with Anthony, and he's been focusing on the 100, doing great things too. So there's a lot of domestic competition that I have to kind of keep my eyes on first before truly looking overseas anywhere else.
But for the sprinters, is there, looking ahead to Pan Pacs and just knowing that there could be a talented field in a few weeks, is there added importance for the sprinters this week?
As experienced as any of us can get, we're probably all a little bit short-sighted in that we just want to make the team. Even guys like Connor that have been absolutely on fire for the last couple years. I've been on the national team since 2008, but I still get nervous, coming in here and trying to secure a spot, making sure that I can compete. I think the best guy to talk to about that is Matt. Grievers was off this team in 2010, 4 years ago. He just had an off meet, man, and then he comes back 2 years later and he crushes the field and almost sets a world record for a gold medal. So, it's just, anybody is susceptible to having a bad meet. We're just kind of focusing on the here, the now, getting through this competition.
For nationals 2 years out from the Olympics, this is getting an awful lot of attention for the reasons of Michael's comeback. Does that have any impact on you, and do you get a sense that, can you feed off that, or does it give you maybe a little more of a spotlight than you want at this moment in time?
I can only just speak to my experiences and I guess what I see and what I go through. And yeah, I have this. Normally I was just talking to Nicole, and we sit in the hotel room for 8 waking hours. But here we are, and there's a lot of media attention. There's people on cameras walking around the deck. I'm filming a little thing for the USOC. There's all sorts of attention, and it's great, but it's not. It's a little bit distracting, and everybody reacts a little bit differently to that. And all I can control is myself again, and as long as I can get back to my hotel room and spend 6 of those typical 8 waking hours laying in my bed doing nothing and watching whatever HBO reruns or Discovery Channel, I think I'll be all right.
Nathan, so for you then, being in the middle of the quad, what's the most significant part of this meet for you?
Qualifying. It is, and that is the key here for everyone, because again, it's a little bit of a goofy system in how we do it, because typically there's a trials meet, then there's a in major international competition. But for people that are just kind of scratching at their potential, a name that comes to mind is again Connor, who in 2010 qualified for World Champs but missed out on Pan Pacs. So the guy kind of missed out on one major international competition, then came to 2011 and had a great lights out year. Had we had a trials meet that year, maybe he would have got himself an individual spot or two to get that experience moving into 2012. But so that's kind of what we're all here to secure, is those spots on the international team to compete.
Is it specifically Pan Pacs then?
So you qualify for Pan Pacs and Kazan World Championships next year.
And what does that mean on your road to the next Olympic trials? If you can do well here, make those teams, why is that? Do you feel that's that important?
Well, it's experience, I suppose. You're not going to perform the best unless you're racing the best, and you're going to see guys. You're going to see the best at their best when you go to a World Championships. Even this year, the people have a lot of different, focus meets throughout the world, whether it be Europeans, whether it be Commonwealth or Pan Pacs or whatever people choose to go to. And even then, some people decide to go to two or more of those races. So it's kind of all over the place. It's the World Championships where you're really going to get a lot of experience and some fast racing in.
Nathan, you train with Anthony. You guys will be among the favorites in the 50. You guys have friendly bet, little trash talking going back and forth.
I'll find something to bet him with. I really enjoy training with Anthony. I think our relationship has definitely grown in the last couple of years. It took a little bit of getting used to, just because his training style was a little bit different than I was used to. I'm sure my training style was different than he was used to. And then, you know, depending on who's having a good day, we're going to get our hands on the wall first. And, you know, we're used to just always winning. So it's been really fun. I think, I don't know, we haven't figured out what the bet is, but there'll be certainly something.
Nathan, as a follow-up to that, I mean, you talked about Connor and Michael and how the whole 100 field is loaded, but for you in the 50 and the 100, I mean, it'd be one thing if you're kind of the class of the Cal group and just doing it by yourself every single day, but I mean, how like honest or what a reminder it is, you know, to have somebody like that, whether you're racing in the same lane, training in the same group or whatever, but just knowing that he's there and it's like, hey, I have to be sharp every single day because Anthony's around.
Yeah, so I've always actually, I have a pretty good idea of what my best times are in whatever particular set that we're doing, and I've always kind of chosen that method of racing the clock. And on any given set, Dave actually doesn't repeat too many sets. I can generally tell you what would be a good time, what would be an okay time, and what time would make me walk out of the pool really mad. So, you know, with that being said, it's good to have someone to go through it with you, because otherwise then you feel doing anything alone, you know, is much, much harder. And, you know, winning, I guess quote unquote winning the set isn't necessarily as straightforward, I think, as many people would believe. You know, if you were an observer sitting here watching us train, I think, you know, everyone trains at different levels. So if Tony was having just a great lights out day, but I was still beating him in terms of our times, I mean, the practice would certainly go to him. And that goes for basically any of the guys that are on our team. It's not just the post grads. We definitely draw a lot of strength and a lot of you know, confidence from our collegiate team that we train with too, because those guys obviously went out in March and did something phenomenal and won national championships. And I think, you know, as post grads, we're like, all right, you know, we're in a program that has been having success. It's now our turn to turn around and try to experience some of that too.
Hey Nathan, was there an international meet, you know, when you were coming up the ranks that gave you a lot of confidence that you did well at a World Championships or at Pan Pacs that you think was, you know, critical for you to become the swimmer you were?
Yeah, I think actually 2010 comes to mind. 2009 was a little goofy just because the suits, again, it just threw everything off. I don't think I was as comfortable in the suits as I should have been and could have been. And 2010 came around, and that was the only time, or the first time that I had raced a tapered Jason Lezak, which was at my time, and still to this day, you know, something of a hero and a role model to me. And I won. So that was obviously a huge confidence booster, and being able to say, hey, like I deserve to be here. I deserve to be on these relays. I can perform at a level, you know, that is expected of someone that is on Team USA.
And what meet was that at?
It was at 2010 Pan Pac Trials and 2010 Pan Pacs.
Kids who had breakout performances at junior nationals this year, how much harder will it be for them to make an Olympic team and swim well at the Olympics without having had the international experience, you know, trips that you guys are vying for right now?
It's tough. I mean, it's definitely tough. And to come up, you know, there's definitely two sides of the coin, because you look at like Katie, who just came out of nowhere, did great at trials, made the 800, and certainly maybe that naivety like helped her. You know, she just was like, man, I'm better than these guys. I'm going to go out and I'm going to set the world record and just crush everyone. But you know, for me, I think that experience is something that I build off of. Is something that's really important. But that being said, again, I had to do it too. 2008 was the first time that I was on a major international competition. I missed 2007. I didn't make any teams in 2006, the big qualifying meet. So, you know, for them, the road is tough, but you can do it, you know.
And just a sort of follow, there are going to be kids swimming against Phelps this week who have never even really raced against him. They only know him for his accomplishments. What do you imagine that dynamic? Is that make it harder or easier? Do you
I know what it's like. I did it. It was 2008. It was, I think, 2008 prelims of the 100 freestyle was the first time I stepped up on the blocks, and he crushed me. But that was a good. I mean, again, it was a good learning experience. It was something that, you need to understand and have a good sense of what your race plan is, and the fact that the greatest Olympian of all time is either next to you or in the same heat and same field as you shouldn't change that. At this point, I think manipulating your race strategy is only really going to hurt you based off of who's in the field. Certainly, there is a little bit of playing to do with if you're swimming next to a guy that goes out fast and trying to draft off them and that stuff. But still, even then, it's you're playing with fire because you race and you train all year creating this race strategy. You might as well execute it at the end of the year when you're at your best.
Did you swim a different race because you were?
Again, it was 2008, so I don't really remember, but I was. I mean, you get a little starstruck, you get a little thrown off, and I went slower than I did the rest of the meet. So, I mean, certainly that speaks for itself. Great. Thank you, guys.